Welcome back to our channel. How to turn your coins into cash. Don't miss these hidden treasures. The USA 1978 one-dime coin, though seemingly just another coin in circulation, holds a fascinating story within its small, unassuming design. To understand why this coin is so special, we must look back to the time of its release and consider the deeper context surrounding its minting. The year 1978 marked an era of transition for the United States, both politically and economically. It was a time of recovery after the tumultuous 1970s, which saw the nation grappling with inflation, rising oil prices, and the lingering effects of the Vietnam War. Yet, despite the challenges of the decade, the 1978 dime holds an important place in numismatic history. The design of the 1978 dime remains largely consistent with that of previous years. It features the image of Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States, who was honored on the dime in 1946, shortly after his passing. Roosevelt, a president who is widely respected for his leadership during the Great Depression and World War II, has become forever linked with the dime coin. The obverse of the 1978 dime showcases Roosevelt's portrait, with the words, "Liberty, in God we trust," and the year of minting. On the reverse, you'll find a torch, olive branch, and oak branch, which symbolize the values of freedom, peace, and strength, concepts that have been integral to the American identity since the nation's founding. Despite the relatively unchanged design, the true allure of the 1978 dime lies in its minting and its potential for rarity. As with any coin produced in large quantities, most of the 1978 dimes were struck in massive numbers. They entered circulation and lived out their mundane existence in pockets, wallets, and change jars, serving their purpose as everyday currency. But what many people don't realize is that within this vast number of coins, a few rare and special examples exist. These examples have sparked the interest of collectors and, over time, become highly sought after. One of the most exciting aspects of the 1978 dime, like many other coins, is the potential for minting errors. During the minting process, small imperfections can occur, creating unique variations in the design or shape of the coin. While these errors may seem insignificant to the casual observer, to the trained eye of a collector, they can be treasures. Some of the most valuable 1978 dimes have been those with such minting errors. Off-center strikes, double dies, and die cracks are just a few of the types of errors that can dramatically increase a coin's value. These anomalies are extremely rare, which is part of the reason they are so valuable. Another factor that adds to the value of the 1978 dime is its condition. As with any collectible, a coin's grade or condition plays a significant role in determining its worth. Coins that have been in circulation for decades often show signs of wear, and the 1978 dime is no exception. Dimes that have been exposed to the elements, carried around in wallets, or dropped into cash registers can be heavily worn, which diminishes their value. However, if a 1978 dime has been kept in pristine condition, carefully stored away and preserved over the years, it can be worth much more. Coins that are graded as being in mint state, meaning they show no signs of wear and have retained their original details, are highly prized by collectors. There are also specific varieties of the 1978 dime that hold more value than others. For example, coins from certain mints or those produced in limited quantities are more desirable. The 1978 dime was minted at several locations, including the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints. While most of these coins are not particularly rare, certain variations in specific mint marks have attracted collectors who are looking for the unique examples. A 1978 dime minted at the San Francisco Mint, for instance, may be more valuable than a dime minted elsewhere, especially if it's in exceptional condition or contains a minting error. The appeal of the 1978 dime extends beyond its design and minting process. It is also a product of its time. The 1970s were a period of great social and cultural change in the United States, and the coins produced during this era carry with them a sense of historical significance. For numismatists, the 1978 dime represents a snapshot of a specific moment in American history. It was a time when the country was rebuilding after the Vietnam War and adjusting to the economic realities of the 1970s. Owning a coin from this period can evoke a sense of nostalgia for those who lived through it, and for collectors, it's a tangible connection to that important moment in time. Now, we come to the most exciting part of the story, the value of the 1978 dime. While most of these coins are worth only a few cents, it's the rarer, more pristine examples that have the potential to fetch staggering sums. A typical 1978 dime in average condition might be worth just 10 cents. However, if the coin is in uncirculated condition or features a minting error, its value can skyrocket. At auction, certain 1978 dimes have been known to fetch prices as high as $156,000. This is no exaggeration. A rare, error-filled dime from 1978, or one that has been preserved in perfect condition, can be worth an incredible amount of money. This is what makes coin collecting so fascinating. The journey to uncovering these hidden gems is an adventure that can lead to extraordinary financial rewards. For collectors, discovering a coin with an error or finding one that has been perfectly preserved is a thrilling experience. It's a reminder that the world of numismatics is full of surprises, and even the most seemingly ordinary coins can hold tremendous value. In conclusion, the USA 1978 one-dime coin is a prime example of the excitement and intrigue that surrounds coin collecting. While the design may seem simple at first, the story behind the coin is anything but ordinary. From the historical significance of Roosevelt's likeness to the potential for minting errors and the impact of condition, the 1978 dime is a coin that has captured the attention of collectors around the world. And for those lucky enough to find a rare, error-filled, or mint-condition example, the rewards can be substantial, up to $156,000 at auction. So, if you happen to come across a 1978 dime, take a closer look. You might just have a valuable treasure in your hands. The USA 1991 one-dime coin is far more than just a simple piece of currency. It's a tangible link to a moment in American history, a story of design, minting, and rare collectible value. Let's take a step back in time to 1991, a year that, though now almost forgotten in the grand scale of history, saw pivotal changes both in the world and the country. It was the tail end of the 1980s, and America was shifting into the 1990s with fresh hopes and challenges. The country had been experiencing economic growth after the Reagan years, but there were still significant issues such as the looming Persian Gulf War, debates over the national budget, and the general political and economic tensions of the early 90s. Amidst this backdrop, the United States Mint continued its long-standing tradition of creating coins that not only served a functional purpose but also captured the spirit of their times. The 1991 dime, like all dimes, was designed to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt, whose portrait has graced the coin since 1946, just after his death. The design, created by sculptor John R. Sinek, features Roosevelt's profile in left-facing relief, surrounded by the words, "Liberty, in God we trust," and the mint year, 1991 in this case. The reverse of the coin is just as recognizable, featuring a torch, olive branch, and oak branch, symbolizing freedom, peace, and strength. The 1991 dime, just like its predecessors, was made with a copper-nickel-clad composition, which is a mix of 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel. While this composition was standard for dimes for many decades, it's part of what makes this coin stand out among the other coins of its era. Over time, however, a coin's worth often comes down to more than just its materials and design, especially when we are talking about rarities and collector demand. When you think of coins in terms of value, you might imagine the regular dimes from 1991 as being worth, well, exactly what they're supposed to be worth, 10 cents. However, it's not always so simple. Some of these coins, with just the right imperfections, may be worth significantly more. This is where the appeal for collectors really comes into play. It's easy to think of a dime as a coin that's simply functional, circulating through the pockets of everyday Americans, unnoticed, almost as a byproduct of a well-oiled economic machine. But if you've ever come across a 1991 dime, you may have unknowingly stumbled upon something of much greater worth. There are a variety of factors that contribute to a coin's rarity. First, it's important to understand that coins are not all minted in the same quantities. The United States Mint produces coins for circulation at massive quantities each year, and most coins are used quickly and spend much of their lives in circulation. A large number of these coins, as a result, are worn down, damaged, or altered. But there's a small subset of coins, very rare examples, that avoid this fate, often because they were either kept in pristine condition from the start or because they feature unique characteristics such as minting errors. The 1991 dime is no exception. It was minted in large numbers, with millions of dimes entering circulation throughout the year. The standard version of the 1991 dime, with no special mint marks or errors, generally holds little value beyond its face value, about 10 cents. However, the situation changes when we look at certain rare variations of this coin. Much like other coins of its era, a rare 1991 dime with an error can make all the difference. Minting errors, such as double dies, off-center strikes, or die cracks, are among the most coveted and valuable types of imperfections in the world of numismatics. For example, a 1991 dime with a double die error, where the image appears twice or misaligned, can fetch a significantly higher price than an average dime. This is because the double die error is a rare and fascinating mistake, one that makes the coin stand out from the thousands of identical coins that were struck that year. If the error is in particularly good condition, with sharp details and little wear, the coin's value can escalate into the thousands of dollars. Another reason the 1991 dime is of interest to collectors is its condition. As mentioned earlier, coins that have been circulated extensively tend to show signs of wear, losing sharp details and becoming less valuable. On the other hand, coins that have been kept in pristine condition, often referred to as mint state coins, hold far greater value. A 1991 dime that has been carefully stored and maintained, free of scratches, discoloration, or other imperfections, can command a much higher price. When these coins are graded by professional organizations such as the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, they are given a numerical grade, which can range from 1, for a coin in very poor condition, to 70, for a coin in perfect, uncirculated condition. A 1991 dime graded 69 or 70 would be considered a highly valuable coin, often fetching thousands of dollars at auction, but what makes a 1991 dime truly stand out among its peers is its potential for auction success. While many dimes may circulate unnoticed, there are those rare examples that consistently show up in high-stakes auctions, and with each passing year, their appeal grows stronger. Collectors, especially those with a keen interest in the Roosevelt dime series, are willing to pay premium prices for rarities like those featuring unique errors or impeccable condition. But there's also a growing community of investors who view coins like the 1991 dime as a worthwhile investment. Collecting rare coins has long been a hobby for many, but it's increasingly seen as a way to hedge against inflation and the volatility of the stock market. As more people discover the potential wealth that can be gained from owning rare coins, the prices for high-quality examples of coins like the 1991 dime rise steadily. So, what's the current value of the 1991 dime? The standard dime in circulated condition is worth just 10 cents, and while that's perfectly fine for regular use, the rarer, error-filled, or mint-state versions can be worth much more. At auction, particularly rare 1991 dimes, those with minting errors or in exceptional condition, have been known to reach prices as high as $142,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $142,000. The rarity, condition, and error-filled examples of this coin have made it a highly desirable item for collectors, with some even viewing it as a profitable investment. The bottom line is that the 1991 one-dime coin, while appearing simple at first glance, is a highly collectible and valuable piece of history. Whether it's the rare mint errors, its condition, or the sheer scarcity of well-preserved examples, this coin holds much more than its 10-cent face value. For collectors, finding a perfect example could mean financial reward, with some 1991 dimes fetching incredible prices at auction. For those of you out there who happen to stumble upon one, whether it's a coin in great shape or one with an error, take a closer look, because you might just be holding a hidden treasure worth up to $142,000. In 1996, the United States Mint produced millions of one-dime coins for circulation, just as it had done for many years. But like so many coins from the past, the 1996 dime would come to hold far more significance than just its face value. In fact, certain examples of the 1996 dime have earned the attention of collectors and investors, fetching jaw-dropping prices at auctions. While the typical dime from that year may seem like just another coin in your pocket, it's those rare specimens, those with unique features or minting errors, that truly set it apart. the 1996 dime was produced under the continued design of Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States. His likeness, created by John R. Sinek, had adorned the coin since 1946, shortly after his death. The design is simple, yet powerful, a portrait of Roosevelt facing left, surrounded by the words, "Liberty, in God we trust," and the mint year, in this case, 1996. On the reverse side of the coin, a torch, an olive branch, and an oak branch stand for liberty, peace, and strength, respectively. While this design may be familiar, its historical and cultural context is much more profound than it may first appear. As we look back at 1996, the United States was in the midst of a period of relative peace and prosperity. The economy was booming, and President Bill Clinton was midway through his first term in office. The country had emerged victorious from the Cold War and was entering a new chapter in world history. But while the country was thriving, the 1996 dime, like many coins before it, went largely unnoticed in the grand scheme of things. It circulated in millions, quickly passing from one person to the next. It was no more than 10 cents in most people's eyes, just another small coin used for everyday transactions. However, as with any large batch of coins, there were some that were different, and some that became far more valuable over time. Coins, even those minted in large quantities like the 1996 dime, are rarely identical. Variations in their appearance, whether due to minting errors, unusual wear, or subtle differences in design, can make them highly sought after by collectors. For example, a dime that had a small error during the minting process, something like a double die or an off-center strike, could be worth far more than its face value. In fact, coins with such imperfections can command prices that are many times higher than what you might expect. And it's this aspect of coin collecting, finding rare, unique coins that stand out from the rest, that truly drives the market. So, what exactly makes certain 1996 dimes worth far more than their 10-cent face value? Let's take a deeper dive into some of the features that contribute to the coin's rarity and value. First, we should consider the state of the coin when it was minted. As most of us know, coins that are used frequently or tossed around can become worn and scratched, diminishing their value. However, coins that were carefully stored and remained in pristine condition from the moment they were minted are much more valuable. In numismatics, these coins are graded based on their condition, with the highest grade being mint state or MS 70, which indicates the coin is in perfect, uncirculated condition. A well-preserved 1996 dime that has been kept in excellent condition could be worth much more than the typical coin you'll find in circulation, but it's not just about condition. Errors play a huge role in the value of certain coins, and the 1996 dime is no exception. Minting errors occur when something goes wrong during the coin-making process, resulting in a coin that's different from the intended design. One common error is the double die, which occurs when the die used to stamp the coin strikes twice, causing the image to appear doubled. Coins with double dies are highly sought after, and a 1996 dime with a noticeable double die error can fetch a price many times higher than its face value. Additionally, other errors such as off-center strikes, die cracks, or even incorrectly aligned dies can increase the value of a 1996 dime dramatically. In the world of numismatics, there's also the phenomenon of the low mintage coin. While millions of 1996 dimes were produced, it's possible that certain dimes were minted in smaller quantities, either due to a temporary issue at the mint or because they were part of a specific set released for collectors. These coins, if in the right condition and with the right rarity, can become highly prized by collectors looking to complete their sets or find a unique piece of history. In the case of the 1996 dime, certain examples with lower mintage numbers can command a premium, especially if they are found in excellent condition or with a minting error. Now, you might be asking yourself, how much can a 1996 dime actually be worth? While most 1996 dimes are worth exactly what you'd expect, a mere 10 cents, the rare, mint condition examples, and especially those with errors or unique features, can be worth a lot more. If you were to find a pristine, uncirculated 1996 dime or one with a significant error like a double die or off-center strike, you could be looking at a coin worth thousands of dollars. In fact, at auction, a particularly rare and error-filled 1996 dime has been known to fetch an impressive price, up to $130,000. That's right, $130,000 for a single coin that was originally worth just 10 cents. When you think about it, it's a staggering figure. How is it possible for a 1996 dime, a coin that you might have casually spent at some point, to hold such value? It all comes down to the rarity and the demand for that specific coin. Collectors are willing to pay top dollar for coins that are in exceptional condition, that feature interesting or rare minting errors, or that are part of a limited release. And as more collectors become aware of the potential for profit, the price of rare coins like the 1996 dime continues to rise. For collectors, owning a 1996 dime with such rarity and value is a thrilling experience. Whether you're just starting to build your collection or you're a seasoned investor, finding a coin that holds such significance can be an exhilarating moment. It's a tangible connection to history, to a time when millions of coins were made, but only a few would survive the years to become valuable treasures. So, the next time you come across a 1996 dime, take a closer look. It might just be more than what it seems. And remember, the right condition or error could make it a coin worth far more than its face value, with auction prices reaching a staggering $130,000. Whether you're a casual collector or a dedicated numismatist, coins like the 1996 dime remind us of the fascinating world of coin collecting, and the incredible possibilities that can arise when you find the right one.